Hi, my name's Elliot, and this is Breaking Into Film, the journey of me trying to break into the film industry. On this episode, we're going to be looking at the recon that I did out to Outback Australia, or sort of Outback Australia, and what we found out. Let's see what happens. So as I mentioned in the last episode, this weekend just passed, I was looking for a location to film an upcoming Copper Fox video. And so me and my partner, we went out to a really interesting and beautiful location about 2 hours out of Canberra, which is really, really cool. It's to look at the viability of it for filming. Now, so that's kind of a key important thing to do with shooting these sort of things, is to go and look at a location before you go film there. Now, obviously on bigger productions, Hollywood stuff, they've got a whole crew just to do that, to go recon, to kind of take photos of the area and look at it. And we can do that on a much smaller scale for our videos. We basically, me and sometimes my partner, go and look at a location before we film there. Now this one that was suggested by my producer for the Tim's series. So he showed me some videos that he'd taken of it, and it looked absolutely incredible. And I wanted to work out if there's a few kind of criteria I needed to work out if it would work for me. And it was how easy it was to get there, how long it took to get there, how the actual location would look with where the sun is, and kind of just look at kind of the idea of what I wanted to film already and see how that played with the location itself. Now, some of those I could actually get from the video he sent me, such as how the sun played off at certain hours and if it would work for what I had in mind. But actually the travel was the key one that I wanted to work out. So I'm not going to mention where I went, just because I will be using it later on. But sadly, the travel was a bit of an issue, so I won't be using it just yet. But hopefully, as we're ending summer now, I'll be probably using it next summer, so the end of the year, once I've got a bit more experience kind of doing a bit more easier shoots to begin with. So the two key things that really kind of killed it for me was the 2 hour and a half, or two and a bit hour drive from Canberra, because I was going to get a lot of mates to come with me and film there. So it would be asking a lot of them to go 2 hours out of Canberra just to do a kind of a day shoot. And because, I'm not, I don't have the money to pay them, I'd be paying them in food and stuff like that. And it's a big thing to ask, even when I'm offering to give them lunch. So I got to kind of scale that back. And the second thing was, we were actually, like a lot of kind of rural areas in Australia, a lot of the roads were dirt. Now, I actually grew up on a farm, and driving on dirt's fine. As long as you've got a four-wheel drive, you can kind of do it quite easily, but this was a bit more than that. The roads were quite large gradients, and they were very, very rocky. So unfortunately, we got to the location and realized that it was a 30-minute drive just on quite interesting terrain, and unless I had a four-wheel drive, which I luckily did, there was no way my mates were going to get out there. So we kind of had to accept that this location won't work just yet. Now, I was able to take a shot of kind of the beautiful outback that we were going to be working with. Not the actual location itself, obviously, because I want to use it later. I want to kind of keep the mystery going. But I took a few shots of the actual road and the location to keep in mind of what I'll be dealing with next time, so I don't have to do the recon all over again. So I'll be showing you guys those photos, hopefully now, if I can go dig them up from my camera. Hopefully I didn't delete them. It's a really interesting location, and it really showcases the Australian outback, and that's one of the key things that I want to be doing in these videos. Kind of showing off how amazing, how great Australia looks, and all the really kind of interesting natural wonders and kind of cool things you can do in Australia as well. And I think this location will really highlight that. Just unfortunately, with where we're at currently, it doesn't really work. So it's definitely something that I will be revisiting later on, as I mentioned, and as I grow and my skills grow, we will be looking at harder and harder locations and more interesting places. But right now, we got to kind of simplify things right down. So a lot of the stuff I probably will be doing to begin with, like the first couple of videos this year at least, will be kind of in Canberra or very close to Canberra. So that was kind of my experience doing the recon this past weekend. And it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad I did it, and it also kind of made sure I didn't screw up and get myself into a situation where I had 10 mates going, okay, where are we going? And it didn't turn out, or they broke their cars because the dirt road destroyed them. So it really is beneficial to do recon stuff, especially when you are expecting other people to go with you. If it's just you can kind of run and gun a bit. But when you're expecting other people to, take their weekend away helping you out, it's best to make sure you do it right and make sure that they are safe as well. And that's the key thing, is when you're filming with them, their safety is in your hands. And part of the reason that, one of the interesting things about Australia, which I will talk about in a more full episode, is actually, if you're in a national park, you need a permit to film there. and that means you need public liability insurance. So I've done a bunch of research on that, and I will be talking about that in its own episode, but it's also something that I have to keep in mind when doing these shoots. So I guess that's what I wanted to talk about this week, was kind of the results of the recon and why I was doing a recon before this shoot, and kind of explaining why it's important for someone that's relying on other people to make sure that their safety is kind of paramount to this whole thing. And look, if you guys have any questions about the recon itself, or if you've got any suggestions for really cool places you'd like to see me film, please leave a comment down below. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next episode.